One study even found that patients with higher protein intake had 40% fewer wound complications and regained strength faster after joint replacement. So, what does that mean in real life? It means making sure you get a good protein source at each meal and snack. Are you ready to get back to the activities you love after knee replacement? Well, we're here to talk about what really works. The Total Knee Success Podcast is your trusted guide before and after total knee replacement. Here you'll find practical tips and evidence-based strategies, not personal medical advice, just education, all to help you manage pain, rebuild mobility, and get back to living the life you love. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the Total Knee Success Podcast. I'm so glad you're here today. We're diving into a topic that doesn't always get the spotlight it deserves, but it makes a huge difference in your healing and long-term results, and that's nutrition. When people think about preparing for or healing after total knee replacement, they usually think about exercises, pain management, or mobility, and those are absolutely key, but the foods and drinks you put into your body every day also play a massive role. Nutrition helps you heal faster, reduces inflammation, and gives you the steady energy you need for rehab and daily life. In fact, research shows that patients with strong nutritional status return to activity faster and have fewer complications after surgery. So today we're going to explore how to use food as part of your healing toolkit. By the end of our time together, you'll know some foods to add, which ones to limit, and how simple nutrition habits can be a big part of your success. Let's start with the big picture. Did you know that malnutrition is present in up to 30% of orthopedic surgery patients? And malnutrition is directly linked with delayed wound healing. This doesn't necessarily mean being underweight. It can also mean not getting the right nutrients your body needs at the right time. And that's why protein comes first in this conversation. Think of protein as your body's repair material. It builds muscle, heals surgical tissue, and keeps your immune system strong after surgery. Your body is in what we call a hypermetabolic state, and that means it uses more protein than usual because it's working overtime to rebuild tissue and respond to the trauma of surgery. That's right, this surgery was a trauma to your body. And without enough protein, your body will actually break down muscle to meet that need. And that makes your exercises harder and it slows down your healing. One study even found that patients with higher protein intake had 40% fewer wound complications and regained strength faster after joint replacement. So what does that mean in real life? It means making sure you get a good protein source at each meal and snack. Things like lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy, beans, lentils, or even protein shakes if you need extra support. Pairing protein with your rehab work is especially powerful because it helps you rebuild strength more effectively. And hydration is the next cornerstone. Water helps reduce inflammation, lubricates your joints, and supports circulation. So nutrients can actually reach the healing tissues. And dehydration makes everything harder. It can increase your fatigue, it slows healing, and even affects medications work. Signs of dehydration include dizziness, darker urine, or just feeling unusually tired. A good guideline is 6 to 8 glasses of water a day, unless your doctor has told you otherwise. And here's a striking fact. Even mild dehydration can increase hospital stay length by up to 20% after orthopedic surgery. Now, let's get into food quality. Anti-inflammatory foods can calm your system and actually help you feel better day to day. Omega-3s from salmon, walnuts, and chia seeds, those are just a few examples. They're powerful. And antioxidants in things like berries, leafy greens, and colorful veggies protect your cells. Spices like turmeric and ginger are more than just flavorful. They can directly support your body's fight against inflammation. But on the flip side, processed foods like sugary snacks and excess alcohol feed inflammation and increase that problem, and they can slow your healing. Research shows that patients with higher omega-3 intake had significantly lower inflammatory markers after surgery. So vitamins and minerals, they really deserve a spotlight too. Vitamin C is critical for collagen production, and that helps your incision heal and your tissues knit back together properly. Things like citrus, peppers, and strawberries are easy sources of vitamin C. Vitamin D and calcium work hand in hand to support your bones, and you'll find these in dairy foods, fortified foods, and you can even find this without having to eat them. You can get vitamin D through safe sun exposure. And zinc helps wounds heal. Iron supports your blood supply. Collagen itself is a structural protein that strengthens the skin and scar tissue, and your body needs both vitamin C and enough protein to make that collagen. Patients who emphasize foods rich in these nutrients often notice smoother and stronger incision healing and better scar outcomes overall. So examples of collagen-supporting foods are things like bone broth, citrus fruits, strawberries, peppers, and leafy greens. And you can also get them in protein-rich meals such as chicken, fish, beans, or eggs. These help provide the amino acids and the vitamins your body needs to form healthy scar tissue and more resilient skin. Hydration also plays a role here because well-hydrated skin is more elastic and tends to scar more smoothly, while dehydration unfortunately can make scars appear tighter and less flexible. Here's something eye-opening. Low vitamin D levels are linked with slower walking success and poorer overall outcomes after knee replacement. Not only do you really need it for the nutrition, it comes out in your function as well. So nutrition, it's not just about adding good foods, it's also about limiting the things that work against your healing. Alcohol slows healing, and that can also interfere with pain medications. Heavy use has even been shown to double the risk of infection after orthopedic surgery. And too much sugar, unfortunately, increases inflammation. Highly processed foods, they tend to be low in nutrients and high in sodium, which can also worsen the swelling. And too much caffeine can mess with hydration and also disrupt your sleep. And sleep is one of your greatest healing tools. We covered sleep in detail back in episode 3, so if you missed that one, go ahead back and give it a listen. Tailoring nutrition to your health conditions is another piece of the puzzle. If you have diabetes, controlling blood sugar is critical. High glucose delays healing and raises infection risk. In fact, poorly controlled diabetes can triple the chance of a surgical site infection. And if you're managing something like high blood pressure or heart disease, a lower sodium, heart-healthy approach makes a real difference. And if weight management is part of your plan, focusing on nutrient-dense, lower-calorie foods will help reduce strain on your new knee while you're still fueling your healing. I think we also need to touch on the new class of weight loss drugs known as GLP-1 receptor agonists, such as semaglutide. These medications can be extremely effective for weight loss, but current research shows they may also cause a reduction in lean muscle mass along with fat loss. For patients preparing for or healing after knee replacement, that muscle loss can be a real concern. Muscle is critical for joint stability, balance, and strength. And if too much muscle is lost, success can be harder and slower. So if you're using or considering using one of these medications, it's especially important for you to work with your healthcare provider to make sure your nutrition and exercise plans support muscle preservation, emphasizing adequate protein and also resistance activity along with that adequate protein. I've seen many patients who have had significant fatigue related to poor nutrition or even from simply not eating enough, and that kind of fatigue can derail their rehab, even if they're showing up and trying to do the work. If this is happening to you, talk with your doctor about what steps you need to take for your individual nutritional needs. Nutrition certainly is personal, and sometimes a small adjustment can really make a big difference in your energy and in your success when rehabbing from that total knee. So before we wrap up, let's talk about some red flags. Call your healthcare provider if you notice unexplained weight loss, poor appetite lasting for more than a week, persistent nausea or vomiting, or any signs of malnutrition like hair loss, brittle nails, or if your wound just isn't healing. Those are signs that you might need some extra nutritional support. So let's pull it all together. Protein gives your body the building blocks it needs. Hydration supports circulation and energy. Anti-inflammatory foods calm the system. Vitamins and minerals strengthen bone, skin, and muscle. And cutting down on alcohol, sugar, and processed foods protects your healing. And adjusting your diet to your personal health conditions really can help you stay on track. The bottom line is this: small nutrition choices made day after day, they can really add up to meaningful success. If you'd like more resources, visit totallysuccess.com. And if you'd like to submit a question for a future question and answer episode, head on over to the website and click on the questions link. And this isn't going to be medical advice for your unique case, but I love helping people learn the science behind healing. And next time we'll shift gears into mindset. Episode 5 is all about how your attitude, expectations, and mental outlook influence life after total knee replacement. This podcast is for educational purposes only. Visit totalkneesuccess.com for more resources. Follow the show and share it with a friend. Your total knee success is already in motion.